So I'm joined by Acting Secretary of Labor Julie Sue. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you doing today?
Good, good, good. It's great to be back here in Wisconsin where I was born, and good to be here with you.
And so, speaking of that, you have some roots here in Madison. Tell us about them, and then just tell us a little bit about your upbringing.
Yeah, so I was born here. My parents immigrated to the country, and my dad was studying while my mom worked two jobs. And we lived in university housing at the time. I loved to go, feed the ducks at Mendota Lake. I think it's changed a lot since I was here, but it's good to be back, and it's good to see all that's happening right now in Madison because of the investments that we're making, the way the community is growing, the way that infrastructure is being built, and I'm happy to be back.
It's for sure growing quite a bit. So you've served as a lawyer, California Labor Commissioner. Now you are, acting Secretary of Labor. Did little Julie Sue ever imagine that she'd be serving in this capacity?
No way. No, not even close. I think part of what drove me was that my parents always worked very, very hard, and when my mom got a union job working at LA County, it really changed our lives. Right? We had health benefits. She had a stable job with a predictable schedule, and now that she's retired, she has a pension. And so I think growing up with those kinds of things really made me feel like that was something I wanted everybody to be able to have. But I never imagined being in the cabinet of the United States. And I'll tell you a quick story about that, which is what I told President Biden that when he said that he was going to nominate me for the position, that my immigrant parents could never have imagined something like this happening. And so he was like, let's give him a call. So he called them to tell them, and it was very, very special.
So that was honestly going to be my next question. Where were you when you got that conversation or that call from President Biden saying, like, hey, I'm going to nominate you for this position?
So the neat thing is, I've spent pretty much my entire professional career advocating with and for workers, especially vulnerable workers in our economy, people who feel left out, who aren't getting a fair shot, who are working really, really hard but experience exploitation or abuse in the workplace. And I went into the state government in California, but when President Biden was elected, he said he was going to build the most pro-worker, pro-union administration in history. And I thought, sign me up for that. I want to help build that. And so I first came into the administration as the Deputy Secretary of Labor.
Yeah.
And then when my predecessor left, the president said that he was going to nominate me, and I didn't expect it. I didn't know that that could happen. But the good thing was I already had some relationships with the staff. Certainly had to help to build the vision for the department, and so it's really a privilege.
And you're coming up on a year since you've been.
That's right.
Congratulations.
That's right. Thank you.
And then touching on your mom being a union worker, you talking about how President Biden has made it an effort to be, a pro-worker administration. 2023. I'm a huge movie fan, so if I could give it like a title, it'd be, the strikers, like strikers, something along those lines.
Yeah, yeah.
Here in Madison, we had True Stage workers and other, worker unions strike. We had SAG-AFTRA, WGA, auto workers.
Yeah.
So with
That's
all
right.
these unions like striking and using their voice to use it in a way to get what they feel they deserve, what is the Department of Labor and the Biden-Harris administration doing, to aid these different unions to make sure that they're not only compensated fairly, but treated fairly?
Yeah, you are 100% right. 2023 was a huge year for working people in this country, especially for union workers. They won historic gains at the bargaining table. Many of them won double-digit wage increases in the first year of a new contract. And as you said, that was across multiple industries. I'm a movie fan too, and one of them was, like Hollywood, right? Writers and actors went on strike to demand a fair share of the profits that they were creating and of a say in the future of their industry, right? They talked about, if AI is going to get, if we're going to create it, let's figure out a way to make it beneficial for workers. As you said, auto workers, historic strike, delivery drivers, teachers, all across the economy. And it's really no accident that that happened at the same time that President Biden kept saying over and over again, unions are good for America, unions built the middle class, and that he and we are doing everything we can to use our levers to support workers doing better, in the economy, getting their fair share. So I say, what we want to do is make sure that those are not just short-term wins, but they really result in long-term security for workers and opportunity for others to reach their piece of the American dream.
Absolutely. So according to the Bureau of Statistics, Wisconsin union jobs have fallen 5% over the last decade. The workforce is up with union jobs having gone down. Is that a trend that you guys are seeing throughout the country? If so, is it concerning, and how are you guys planning to address that?
So actually, the number of workers in unions increased over the last year. Okay. And again, that makes sense because workers are seeing what happens when you have a union fighting for you, right? They're seeing real outcomes in terms of job security and wages and working conditions and retirement and the like. And they're also hearing that they're in a country where the administration, the president, is supportive of that. That's why we have the highest public approval rating for unions in this country in like 50 years. It's also been, it's a tight labor market, right? So these things don't happen in a vacuum. They happen because of economic policies like those that the president has pursued and championed that give workers more power, right? So a tight labor market means there are more jobs than there are workers, and so workers can make choices. And for those workers who want to choose a union, we want to make sure that they get one. And so the percentage, though, you're right, it's gone down, but also it's because we have more workers in the labor market now. That's part of the incredible recovery that we've seen under what we say Bidenomics, right? President Biden's economic policies that have resulted in 14.8 million jobs since he came into office, record low levels of unemployment, real wages going up. So we also see that when unions do well in this country, it's good for non-union workers too. Wages go up in general, workers do better, they feel a little bit more secure, they have some breathing room. All of that is part of what we think makes a strong economy and a strong country.
Yes, ma'am. So you and Vice President Harris are in town highlighting the administration's work in the clean energy infrastructure, as well as an executive order geared towards bolstering registered apprenticeships. For those at home, what all does that mean?
Yeah.
And why should they feel this is important?
That's right. So one, it means that this administration is making historic investments in communities all across the country to do things like make sure the roads and bridges are safe, to make sure that every family that turns on the faucet gets clean drinking water, to make sure every community has high-speed, reliable, affordable internet, to combat the climate crisis, right? To increase the number of electric vehicles on our roads, electric buses, to build public transit. And all of these investments are not just creating those things which families can feel and get real benefit from, but they're also creating good jobs in every single community. So we're here to celebrate those things, to see what those investments are doing. And we were just over at the Hanson Road facility where people in apprenticeship programs are building a future where electric buses can be maintained and stored right here in Madison, and where those individuals are getting good jobs right out of high school, right? These are jobs that don't require a four-year college degree, where they can make a decent living, support their families, and build up their communities. So it's exciting to come here and see the real impact of that work.
And speaking of right out of high school, a lot of Madison Metro schools are starting those apprenticeship programs while in school.
That's right.
Kids will essentially have like a hybrid schedule where they have their normal classes, but then they also will go to a local technical school or a college and, work and perfect on that craft.
Yeah.
Is that something that
Yeah.
this administration has pushed forward?
It's so important. So we're investing in programs like that. But we can't do that without good, strong local and state leadership, which we have here, right? We have a mayor who's committed to bus lines, right, to public transit and using electric vehicles for them. We have a governor that's really committed to making sure that there are good jobs throughout Wisconsin and that everybody has those jobs. We're working in partnership with them. And so, yeah, a young person seeing that, let's say they want to work with their hands. They, want to know how to connect what they're learning in class to something real. An apprenticeship program is a great way to do that. And so knowing that there are schools right here in this community who are saying to young people, that's a good path, that's a decent path, that's a path to success, is really helping us to sell that message and make it real. So we're grateful for the partnership of local leadership here.
You mentioned Mayor Satya Rhodes, as well as Governor Evers, and investment. In recent years, the Madison Metro has lost a GM plant down in Janesville, as well as an Oscar Mayer plant in Madison. What's the future of some of these Rust Belt communities in the state or throughout the country, and how is the administration helping?
Yeah, so I think the future is bright because we are making historic investments that have never been seen before, right? The kinds of investments in our roads and bridges, we have not had these since President Eisenhower and the country built its national highway system. It's bright because the kinds of investments in climate are creating jobs, right? Jobs to, clean up our, make sure everybody breathes clean air, make sure that everybody, right, has access to environments that are sustainable, combating things that are creating all kinds of strange weather patterns that are really harmful. So the future is bright because those investments are starting to hit communities right now with shovels in the ground, with facilities being built, but it's going to take some time, right? These things don't happen overnight, and that's why we are still hard at work in turning those investments into into reality. But here, those jobs that have been good jobs, that have been good union jobs, having manufacturing, come back to the United States and build the thing. We invented semiconductors, and there's no reason we can't build them here. And those are all, again, things that we want to make sure we do the right way. We make the investments, but we also invest in America's workers by making those good jobs.
Yes, ma'am. I'm going to swing back to your parents, your upbringing.
Mm-hmm.
You'd mentioned how they were immigrants. How has you and your family's experience, them being immigrants, you being a first generation, American, how has that informed you and helped you on how you do your job today?
No, thank you for that question. I am a big believer in the opportunities that America provides. I'm a big believer that everybody should have a shot, because that's my family story. My parents came here, they didn't speak the language, they themselves worked, minimum wage jobs. I said my mom, when we lived here in Madison, she worked 2 jobs, so our family could put food on the table. I'm a believer that the kinds of opportunity that good jobs provide change lives. I've seen it, I've lived it, and it's something that I wake up every day fighting for, so that everybody in America can have that.
So this is a bit of a two-parter. How important is that opportunity of, you talked about the American dream, how important is having that opportunity of pursuing the American dream? And then secondly, how important are immigrants to our workforce?
So on the first question, I think, we are the only nation in the country whose name, whose vision is associated with that idea of, it's a dream, and it's a dream that attracts people from around the world, right? People cross continents and oceans for it, but people who've also been here for generations believe in it. And for too long, for too many people, they haven't really been able to feel that, which is why President Biden says, we're going to build this country in a way that in which everybody feels included, that leaves no one behind. That's when he says we're going to build an economy from the middle out and the bottom up. Yeah. That's what he means by it, right? So it's really important. And I heard that today over at the Hampton Road facility. There were, young men just out of high school who said, I didn't know I could have this job, but now that I'm in this apprenticeship program, I see a bright future for myself. There was a young father who said, I wanted a program like this once I had a kid because I knew that I had to bring security to my family. And then they said, now when I drive around town, I get to point out the things that I've built. That's fundamentally, right, the American dream has always been about a good job and the economic security that comes with that. So it's really important. And throughout our nation's history, immigrants have been a really key part of that, and that remains true today. So we want to make sure that opportunities are not determined by the zip code that you're born in, by the circumstances that you grow up in. We want to make sure that there's opportunities for everybody. That's why apprenticeship programs matter. That's why, you know, when you recruit and tell, you know, any young person, we see you in this future too, it makes a really big difference. I get to travel around the country and see that, and so I love that.
So this ties in, your last few sentences ties into my last question of the day for you. You talked about how, you know, that individual can see it and want to pursue it.
Yeah.
So it is Women's History Month. You and Vice President Harris are in town. You guys are forevermore a part of history for the work that you're doing in the administration. For any young women or young girls out there that may see this, what message or lesson would you want to impart on them?
So I know this from my life and I see this from my work. Girls can do anything when given a shot, right? That when given an opportunity that they might not have had before. And so, you know, the president says all the time, he wants to build an inclusive economy. He's in every aspect. So from the cabinet, right? He said from day one, we want to build a cabinet that looks like America. We want the federal government to look like America. That's why this executive order that he announced today is about expanding apprenticeship opportunities into federal civil service, right? When you have government that looks like the people that we seek to serve, it not only makes us better, it makes us more credible, right? It makes us understand the needs and the struggles and the challenges that we're trying to face. And in the good jobs that we're creating, in some of them, let's talk about construction, right? There's not been as many women in those jobs in history, but we are now making investments specifically about creating apprenticeship cohorts that have women. And I meet women across the country who are doing jobs with their hands, laying pipe 30 feet underground, building structures, you know, thousands of feet in the air that they know are gonna last. And so when other women see that, they know that they can do it too. And sometimes you got to be the first, right? And you know, when women get to do that, when girls get to do that, you know, they're building the future that we know is possible.
Absolutely.
Again, I have had the pleasure of being joined by Acting Secretary Julie Su. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to do this. And for all of you at home that felt the time and took the time to join us, thank you so much. You guys all have a good night.